Hi there, Bill Hitchcock. It is Thursday, October 9th, and we got a lot of information to get out to you. The fishing has been fantastic the past couple, 3-4 days. We've had yellowfin tuna, we've had blue marlin, sailfish, speckled trout, king mackerel, and a bunch of other stuff going on. And unfortunately, the wind has returned. We talked about it in the last show on Monday that look out starting Thursday of this week. It was going to start. We've got some interesting stuff about to happen this weekend, and we also have got a bunch of viewer catches to get out to you, and also the fishing reports, the fishing information that the viewers that you've sent in to us is amazing. It's fantastic information. But first off, let's knock out the weather situation. Tropical storm Jerry will become a hurricane late Friday, but will stay well offshore of the eastern seaboard. And as we've been talking about for about a week or so, we got a low pressure system that's scooting up the coastline, and it's going to create some problems for us this week. Well, actually starting Thursday. This is not associated with Tropical Storm Jerry. And if I'm showing what I think I'm showing you right now, this system will not only affect us, but New England. We're talking gale force winds, and possibly later on, a week or so from now offshore, it'll turn into a hurricane. But what I want to show you right now is from SatFish, the satellite fishing technology people, the winds right now. The winds projected for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday going into Monday, so you can see exactly what's getting ready to happen along the coast of North Carolina. All right, we're going to start off looking at some sea surface temperatures. We'd like to thank SatFish, for the satellite fishing technology company, for supplying all of this information to us. We're really going to concentrate on the winds, but the interesting phenomena that's happened with the sea surface temperatures over the past 3, 4, 5 days or so. And again, this is a 3-day composite that we're looking at. But watch some of the cursor of my hand here. And by the way, you can see the temperature change right up top here. As this little cursor goes up and down the coast, we're around 72 degrees. We come down here to the Point of Hatteras, it's about 73, 74 degrees. We hit the Cape Lookout area, it's about 74, 75 degrees, all the way to Cape Fear, 75, maybe up to 76 degrees. So we have real consistent water temperatures out to about 10 miles out from all of the beaches here, including when we come in here in the Panama Coast Sound. It's around 72 degrees. Now, if we zoom on in the Albemarle, you'll see 70 degrees. It's starting to cool down a little bit, getting real speckly, trouty kind of looking. And again, as usual, around the shoals, you'll see that we have the cooler water. Gulf Stream water is around 82 degrees, so that's cooled down just a little bit. But what I really want to focus on today are the winds. Let's go to today when I'm doing this. The winds are primarily out of northeast. There, let me zoom back out here. Northeast off of the northern Outer Banks is around 20, 21 knots. Down here in Onslow Bay, around 24, 25 knots. In here, Raleigh Bay, here's Onslow Bay, around 20 knots. Down here, Cape Fear, same thing. Let's skip on into Friday. What's projected? You see the winds is shifting more easterly. Northern Outer Banks around 22 knots. Working down in here in Onslow Bay, around 22 knots. Same thing here in the Onslow Bay area, except it's starting to pick up a little bit, 25 knots. Cape Fear, same thing. Now, this is where things start to get a little bit exciting. Almost due east in a lot of places. You can see, but it's cool. It's cooled down. Listen to me. I'm doing that again. It's the speed has calmed down a little bit in the northern Outer Banks, around 17, 18 knots. Down here, we have a very interesting convergence of wind in the Onslow Bay area, depending on where you are, 22 knots there, but 9, 10 knots down here in Wilmington. But this is what I want you to see. On Sunday, do you see that center of circulation? This is the low pressure system that is scooting up the coastline as we speak right now. This is for Sunday. Unfortunately, the northern Outer Banks, as you can see up here, they're going to be getting 40 knot plus winds. It's going to, they don't need it. They just had this about a week or so ago, but it's going to have very strong winds. You can see the circulation coming over Panama Coast Sound here around 23 knots. Down here along the Crystal Coast, it's a lot calmer, around 15, 17 knots. And down here in the Cape Fear region, same thing. Come Monday, though, the wind shifted almost entirely out of the west. It's calmed down to 18 knot winds up here in the northern Outer Banks. Banks in the Onslow Bay area, 13 knots down here in the Raleigh Bay. This is the Onslow Bay area down here. It's only 7, 8 knots, and even down here in the Cape Fear region, it's 5, 6, 7 knots. So by Monday, it will be calm. But let me go back to Sunday. There's that center of circulation. There's that 40-knot plus winds that's really just going to wreak havoc along the Outer Banks. And even let me scoot it back a little bit. This is Sunday around 2 in the morning. Here you can see the center of circulation is in the Raleigh Bay area, and it's just going to whack this area. So just stay tuned. The wind's going to be pretty brisky this weekend. By Monday, it should clear up. So we're just going to have to hang on one more time. I'd like to thank Satfish, the satellite fishing technology people, for supplying this information to us. Go to their website, satfish.com. See what they got there. They got a lot to offer you. I'm sure everybody recalls just last week, not even a week ago, all the reports from the north, from Rodanthe, Buxton, of the houses falling into the drink due to the bad weather. Well, guess what? It'll probably be even worse this weekend, so let's say a little prayer for those folks. Now, the fishing report, let's get on to it. The Nags Head, Manio area, Jeanette's Pier. This is from yesterday. They say, so far today, we're catching spots. Yesterday, pompano and speckled trout and blues were biting. A mix of clouds and sun right now. That was, again, yesterday. Water temperature 72 degrees. Now, just as a friendly reminder, been talking about this for a while, the speckled trout activity has been up in that area. It's now oceanside. It's been primarily soundside, but the speckled trout activity has been up there, and we know that October, November, going into December is definitely a speckled trout catching time for here in North Carolina. Now, poacher sport fishing. Say big bluefish today, along with plenty of false albacore and a few moonfish. Great half day of fishing. Fishing Frenzy said it took all day, but we ended up with a nice catch of mahi. Yay. Speechless, look at me. Speechless sport fishing out of Pirates Cove said it felt so great getting out there and getting them today. People often ask, does anyone catch any fish offshore during the fall season in the OBX? The answer is yes. And by the way, in case you didn't know it, starting in November, as early as November, the bluefin tuna activity picks up, and by December, it ought to be ballistic. This last year, it was the most and the biggest bluefin tunas I've ever heard of, and you may recall Jeanette's Pier was a focal point last March. March, for bluefin tuna being caught off of a pier. How about that? Now, Trophy Hunter out of Pirates Cove. They say the Pirate Cove reports that the Trophy Hunter was our only offshore charter out today. That was yesterday. They returned with a box full, limited mahi-mahi, yellowfin tuna, and blackfin tuna. Salty Waters OBX. Now, if you watch this show with any regularity, you know that whenever I say Salty Waters OBX, you're going to hear the following. It says, my fellows John and Ray smashed the trout yesterday afternoon, and a bonus nice perch. We rolled in where we wanted to be, and within minutes, it was game on for an hour and a half. And again, that's Salty Waters OBX. It's very common for us to get reports from them that they have a charter in the morning and a different charter in the afternoon, and in both trips, they're just limiting out on speckled trout. So yay, glad to hear it. Now, Doghouse Charters, Captain Britton Shackelford. A couple of videos I want to show you. First off, I don't know if you're aware of it, but the Oregon Inlet is very treacherous, and I want to show a little bit of footage of Captain Britton Shackelford heading on out.
Right behind a washout set. I got my gap. Every once in a while, one of them rascals will roll through here and clean you out. Ooh. And we're in. Very nice.
Again, Oregon Inlet is treacherous. That's what those folks have to go through every day going out and back. If you're not familiar with the inlet, please don't make your first trip by yourself. Have some help getting out there. Now, I got another video I want to show you from Doghouse Charters with Captain Britton Shackelford. I don't know if you're aware of it, but when you catch a marlin for the first time, you got to jump in the water. Take a look.
All right, so they caught their first marlins. Let's see how this goes. They can either jump or be thrown.
You gotta have fun with it. Doghouse Charters, Captain Britton Shackford, jumping in the drink after your first blue marlin. Now, Oregon Inlet Fishing Center says this past Tuesday, saw nice catches of mahi-mahi, blackfin tuna, yellowfin tuna, sailfish, blue marlin, and bluefish. Now, that's really a combination. We're talking about blue marlin and bluefish and yellowfin tuna, mahi-mahi. That is fantastic. Speaking of which, this occurred to me. The large bluefish will be around for a while. They should be, at least. And I recall many years ago, back in the 90s, that the folks out of Hatteras were catching these big bluefish, like 8 and 10 pound bluefish, re-rigging them on the spot, throwing them out there for the bluefin tuna. So that should give you an idea of the type of activity that we're about to have happen. Let's see. Fish the Pelican out of Oregon Inlet said in early with a box full of tuna. Way to go, guys. So they had a short trip but limited out. Hatteras, Rodanthe Pier, black drum, spot, bluefish, red drum, gray trout. And then it's my favorite fishing report, the Rodanthe Pier dry erase board. Yeah, you can't get much better than that. Avon Pier, October 6th and October 7th. Real big drum blitz both day and night. So way to go, Avon Pier. The Carolina Girls Sport Fishing. Got a nice group of guys today. They said Erica Ludecking and family got our limit of mahi-mahi first thing in the morning, then went wahoo fishing. Couldn't hold on to them today. At one point, I thought we must be using rubber hooks. That's like the third time I've heard that from different guys up and down the coast. Frank and Franz out of Avon, North Carolina. They said the surf cleared up enough to produce some smaller fish, including sea mullet, spot, and some small pompano. Soundside has had some blues and puppy drum here and there. I'll leave it at that. And this is from yesterday, and now it's going to get all mucky again. Spectacular Hatteras light tackle fishing. They say Greg caught a citation sheep's head. He and Paul also caught a bunch of bluefish and under slot-sized drum along with one keeper, making it a pretty productive trip. I would think so, or I say so. It was. Dundee Sport Fishing. Well, it's official. Oh yeah. Congratulations to Henry Barksdale, who holds the new North Carolina state record for an Almaco jack at 60.8 pounds caught while fishing with us on September 18th. So congratulations. And on October 7th, they said weather conditions were not exactly what was forecasted, go figure, but we still put some meat in the box for dinner. Wahoo, mahi, tuna for the meat slam. All right, Hatteras Harbor Marina says offshore made it out today, this is yesterday, catching king mackerel, dolphin, wahoo, blackfin, some bottom fish were caught. Inshore fleet had a good day catching speckled trout and bluefish. And if I can think of two fish that would be most common caught in the backside of Hatteras Island, that would be it, speckled trout and bluefish. Now in the central area, this comes from the North Carolina Division of Marine Fisheries of all places. They say some fish are just too good to put back. Randy harvested a 3.9 pound Florida pompano out at Cape Lookout on low tide. Now, I don't know what's been magical about the east side, going from Cape Lookout all the way up to Hatteras, but that's been the magic spot for the large pompano, 5 pound class pompano since last May. So again, don't know why, but it's been over there, but congratulations to those folks. All right, we also have another report from the Division of Marine Fisheries. They say a hunter caught a monster spotted sea trout at the mouth of the Pungo River. His fish measured 25.5 inches in length, and lucky for him, also had a yellow tag. Hunter chose a fish towel for his reward and also received a letter and a certificate with information about his fish. And that to me is the most exciting part about this tagging program with the division. When you turn it in, you get some lovely prize that you can, Carol Merrill, what are the prizes you can get? But you get information about that fish, such as where it was caught and tagged and how big it was then and to the point where you caught it. So congratulations. Chasing Tails has given us a king mackerel report. They say, a tournament report, say we have a new leader in the Atlantic Beach King Mackerel Fishing Tournament. Miss Kaylee takes over first place with a 43.27 pound mackerel. King Mackerel full coverage takes over third place at 35.22 pounds. Holland Asher takes over fifth place at 25.17 pounds. Justin Time puts the first wahoo on the board at 47.82 pounds. The Atlantic Beach King Mackerel Tournament's been brought back after it went away for a while. It's from October 4th through October 25th. All right, Really Living Charters out of Atlantic Beach say yellow butterflies in the air means it's trout time. Well, you know, it's funny. I guess it's a matter of perspective. For me, when I see yellow butterflies, it's usually in late August, and that means mullet. So anyway, watch for them yellow butterflies. In the southern region, OMC Fishing Adventures out of Sneed's Ferry, they said, we nailed it today on our quick 3-hour trip. We broke off a big AJ and, believe it or not, a nice gaffer dolphin. That's right, a gaffer dolphin in 40 inches. Hope to get back after it when the storm blows on by, don't we all? By the way, did you notice the Spanish? They don't make mention of this, but there's a Spanish mackerel back there behind that other fish, and its tail is bit off. I'd love to hear that story. The Von Decay out of Carolina Beach says, today on our half day, we saw jacks, flounder, gag groupers, triggers, black sea bass, grunts, ringtails, and tomtates. We had a great group on board. Thanks to all who came on out. And by the way, because we've had some very interesting weather, it's been very, very windy, and it's going to be windy again. The trips have to be canceled for a lot of safety primarily, and sometimes people get upset and don't understand why the trip's been canceled. It's weather. Trust me, the boat wants to take you out more than you want to go out, but if it's weather prohibitive, they won't go out. Star City Pier, Mike with a nice 1.32 pound gray trout, and Mr. Ron with a 1.69 pound pompano. Johnny Mercer's Pier, enough of me. Let's go to a video report at Johnny Mercer's Pier.
Hi, this is Matt Johnson with Johnny Mercer's Fishing Pier, here for a special announcement. The Fishing with Special Friends, which was supposed to take place this weekend, has been moved to November 1st. We look forward to seeing you then. But what's been happening? Well, yeah, it's a good question. Spanish mackerel, pompano, bluefish, all decent size, gotcha plugs have been really strong. Early, late, and as you can probably tell, we're catching some right now. It's getting to the peak time. As far as king mackerel goes, we had a great tournament. We got some fish on every day. We still had extra bites, but no luck landing it. Been kind of quiet as far as I know this week, but we still expect that to go on for a while. Bottom fishing, obviously pompano, bluefish have been pretty strong. We're seeing some other types of fish, maybe a mullet here and there. It should only get better with these little nor'easters that are kicking up. As soon as it calms down, it should be time to try at night. Remember, when you're fishing at Johnny Mercer's Pier, size matters, you matter, and look forward to seeing you at the pier. Thank you.
All right, Johnny Mercer's Pier, there's always something happening there. Now let's go to Sunset Beach Pier. They too have a video report.
Hey, good Monday morning. That ain't Monday, guys. It's Wednesday. Man, I've lost a couple of days. Hey, good Wednesday morning, guys. This is our second post for today. We had the sunrise this morning. It was beautiful. So just out here on the pier. Got the tides falling right now. Of course, it was a high tide. It was up to the trash cans, but just showing a few folks out fishing today. Catching a little bit of everything, catching a few spots. There've been some pompano caught, some whiting, some flounder. So, yep, quite a few people fishing. So hopefully the fishing will pick up on this falling tide. It is hot today to be in October. The wind has finally just picked up, started blowing. There was no wind this morning. But it is a beautiful day if you're coming to the beach.
All righty, it's time for viewer catches, and we got a bunch of them. By the way, this is probably the best overall set of viewer catches because of the information that people are giving us, like lures and tactics and time of day and all that kind of stuff. We have Tim, he says, hey Bill, got this great photo of my son's catch of a red drum caught from the surf at Ballhead Island during the full moon on October 7th. We were using cut mullet. It was a beautiful evening for fishing with the full moon coming up over the ocean. There were lots of blues caught before sunset, and once the moon came up, the drum bite started. Thank you for the great fishing reports you post. Tim, thank you for the great pictures and fishing report information. Shane Ballou says, hello, Bill. Love your show. Keep up the good work. I want to share these fish caught October 4th and 6 in the Rodanthe surf using cut bait on a fish finder rig. 24-inch red, 22-inch bluefish. My wife and I enjoyed 5 gorgeous days there between the storm systems. She's my best catch ever. Caught her November 23rd, 1989. Shane Ballou, way to go, Shane. I love it. They from Cowpens, South Carolina, home of the Cowpens National Battlefield. Amin Nader says, hi, Bill. My roommate and I have been watching for a couple of months now. Glad we found your channel. So am I. We went and fished at Atlantic Beach this past weekend. Mid-morning at Fort Macon, I caught 2 bluefish. The first one was caught with a fresh chunk of mullet that had recently been cut up and frozen. Thank you, Chasing Tails. Said that one was caught on a drum rig. The other was caught on a piece of shrimp on a pompano rig. It was double up with a puffer fish. Well, congratulations. The next day around at 8, 9 in the morning, I caught 2 more bluefish at Fort Macon. All fish were caught by the end of the beach where it meets the Coast Guard area. And that's Amin Nader. Congratulations. Wayne Mills, he said, Fish to Creek. I like this one. He says, Fish to Creek off the noose this morning. Caught several nice trout on red and white 3.5-inch Zara Spook topwater. Then the blues arrived, and boy, did they ever arrive. Says, we caught 10 to 12 bluefish up to 10 pounds. They really hit the 3-inch Johnson minnow in gold. Did not like the bronze version. Why? Who knows? They were regurgitating menhaden up to 6 inches. One had 3 inches of a trout tail in its mouth. And this is the bluefish with a trout tail in its mouth. Said fish slow and steady. Wayne Mills, fantastic report, Wayne. I really do appreciate it. Jonathan Fan, he says, hello there, Bill. Jonathan from Stedman, North Carolina here. Love the details about the wind weather with a fishing report. October 4th caught a 24-inch and a 21-inch drum, picture of the 24-inch drum, from the surf Saturday on North Topsail. Fresh cut mullet with a piece of fresh shrimp was the ticket. Caught some nice sized blues as well. Fishing that night and the next evening on Surf City Pier, the bait fish were thick. And some folks were catching decent sized spot in mullet, sea mullet. Bait fish were all up and down and around the pier. September 25th, my daughter Milet, like Violet, caught her first spot off of Surf City Pier, and it was a big one, 9 inches long and a half a pound. She definitely outfished me that evening. Jonathan, congratulations. All right, Andy Wade, he says, hi, Bill. Love your channel. Thank you very much. My buddy Brad Graffman and I had a great day this past Sunday in Newbern. I got to turn Brad, he's the guy in the gray shirt, onto his first striper catch. They were active on topwater baits during the morning hours, and we had an awesome day. Andy Wade, way to go, Andy. Chris Prevette, 41-inch cobia caught a few miles off Ocean Isle last week. Trolling for kings on the skiff. Tim Rollin, Chris Prevette, Ocean Isle Beach. Way to go. Ken here says, hey, Bill, my wife Julie and I are an avid fisherwoman. Caught several of these that weighed less than a pound on shrimp bait at the Folly Beach Pier in Charleston. I know primarily you primarily do reports in North Carolina area. However, we never have seen or caught catfish in the ocean. Any idea what type these are? From Ken. And if you have an idea what type of catfish they are, I don't know diddly squat about catfish outside that they normally show up after storms. Because our storms normally come out of the south, and that pushes fish and baits up towards us that wouldn't normally be here. So if anybody has any idea what type of catfish, let me know and we'll tell Ken. Email me, billhitchcock@mail.com, billhitchcock@mail.com. If you've got a fishing report, if you got pictures, videos, send them on in. I love the detail. That's what we're looking for. We don't necessarily need to know your secret fishing spot. General location would be great. Conditions, bait, lures, tactics, time of day, tide, anything that you can tell us would be greatly appreciated. And by the way, email me at billhitchcock@mail.com. Don't try to go through Facebook or TikTok or private messages or anything like that. Everything is congregated in one place. If I get things all over the place, then I start forgetting and missing, and I don't want to do that to you as well. And also, I get Facebook friend requests, and if I don't know you and I don't know any of your friends, I tend to ignore them. So just email me if you want to get up with me, and that way we can establish whatever contact. And one last thing I want to bring up, I had a viewer make mention about on another YouTube channel, they were releasing drum from a pier, just letting them dive, dropping them. they got a net that you can bring them up to get the hook off, but instead of lowering them back down in the net into the water, they were dropping them from the deck of the pier, which is what, a 30-foot, 40-foot drop? I don't know what it is. A couple of things I want to make mention. One, drum, even when are a very hardy fish, but drum were designed, their body, to hold their weight in water. They're not designed to hold their weight out of water. Their guts and everything tends to squish a little bit. So if you do catch a big drum, if you can, leave it in the water and get the hook out of its mouth. Now, if you're somewhere up in the Neuse River area, depending on the time of year, you've got to be careful of things like bull sharks. I don't want you to get eaten by a bull shark, but just remember, be as gentle as possible as you can with that. And I do want to make one final mention. Captain George Beckwith, who was one of the best drum and tarpon fishermen North Carolina has ever seen, had a unfortunate accident and is no longer with us. I've known George for about 35 years, probably did a dozen TV shows with him. As soon as we get some more details, we'll get that out to you. All right, that's all the time that I have today. Until next time, I'm Bill Hitchcock. See ya.